So there we go. So what you need to do is you can either recording on Zoom, you can still leave it open, or you can press the blue button on the right hand side in order to be able to close it down. If you ever click the left one, it just kicks you out of the room, and it just means that I will just let you back in again. Okay, so I'll mute you all down so that no one else is heard on the recording as well as seen on the recording. And yeah, we'll do some mindfulness. So doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter if you're in a busy environment or if you're in a quiet environment. We are just inviting you just to take some time to connect with yourself, connect with just that expanse of who we are and what we're doing. So make yourselves comfortable in this moment. This might be sitting down, could be on quite a formal chair or on a sofa, or you could also be reclining or lying down. And when you feel as if for the moment you've made yourself as comfortable as possible, just bring your eyes, if you haven't already, to a gentle close. You can also cap the eyes, so you can bring them to like a 3/4 closed. And if you're going to do that, then I would invite you just to find a spot that's either 2 or 3 feet in front of you, just to sort of almost bring into focus, but not. And we call this capping of the eyes. Personally, I like to close my eyes. I like to close down that visual sense. But I appreciate that it's not always safe and that we don't always feel safe with the eyes closed. So just revisit the comfort, and you might need to take a few more wiggles. You might not quite be there yet, and that's okay. And then just start by listening or feeling the vibrations of the sounds in the distance. So those sounds that you can just hear just outside of your immediate environment. We don't need to follow them. We don't need to identify or intellectualize them, follow their story or narrative. Just be aware that they are coming and going. And then just bring your sense of hearing and vibration a little closer to you. So if you're outside a window or a room with sounds in the distance, that may be sounds within the room. So there could be an animal breathing, maybe the telephone will suddenly start ringing. Maybe you can hear the buzz of a light bulb, a ticking of a clock. And then you can just bring that sense of hearing just back out into the distance again. And then back in to sounds that are near to you. And there's a gentle rocking of awareness between the sounds in the distance and then sounds that are near to you. And there might be some sounds you don't like, or that the body wants to pause and identify. And just see if it's possible just to bring your sense of hearing right in to the body. So you might feel your clothing, hear your breath as it enters your nostril or your mouth. And then as the breath leaves the body, there's a whisper of air in the nostrils, on the top lip, maybe a slight drying of the mouth. If for some reason you're breathing through the mouth. And that's okay. So you might have a very heavy cold. Or you might have a pathology that just makes it easier to breathe through the mouth. And then just listen for sounds that are happening close to or within the body. So you might hear yourself swallow. You might hear your stomach or your digestion start to rumble. All these are just little ways in which the body says, it's coming, it's happening. Relaxation and rest is occurring. Or you might not be quite there yet. And that's okay too. And just bring your attention to the navel and just feel that umbilicus, that navel area, just maybe stretching, lifting on the inhale, and then closing and sinking slightly on the exhale. And it could be very subtle. And it also doesn't matter or your umbilicus or navel looks like. Again, just feel that expansion, slight lift and open of the inhale, and then the closing, falling of the exhale. And the next time you feel that falling of the exhale, just feel into the pelvic bowl and the hips. Just feel that whole area just becoming heavy. It's really giving up its weight to the surface that's underneath. And maybe there's some intrepidation because maybe there's some pain in the hips. And again, you're not quite there yet. Maybe you're not quite there to give all of your agency to rest at this time. And again, that's okay. If this is your practice, I just invite you just to, every time you just feel that contraction and exhale, just see if you can just feel the thighs now, just connecting with the surface from behind, just feeling slightly heavier. More expansive. And then the knees, the kneecaps, and then down into the shins, down into the front of the ankle and the top of each foot. Just the tension of what could be weary bones, just being released through the toes, so the big toes of each foot, and the second, third, fourth, and little toes. And then just feel the way that the bottom of each foot is just connected in with the carpet or the flooring, or even just the soles of each shoe. It's just giving its weight over, just relaxing just that little bit more. And maybe they feel very different. So maybe one you can particularly connect with. Maybe you can't quite feel another. Or maybe you were only born with one. So energetically, there's just the release of another. Again, this is your practice, your body. Nobody knows your body the way that you do. So just feel the base of each foot and just visualize, if you like, looking at the bottom of each foot. So as if you're just looking up at the bottom of each foot, the expansiveness behind the big toes. The insteps, the outer edge of each foot, back to the heel, both the heels grounding down into the surface. Just bring yourself back inside. Just feel into the back of the heel, ankles, the calves of each foot, calves of each leg, back of the knees, back of the thighs, buttocks, lower back, mid back, upper back, the shoulders. So as with the hips, shoulders, just how do they feel in this moment? Do they feel heavy and relaxed? Or can you feel that slightly gripping one because you're experiencing what could be defined as pain or discomfort? So how are they feeling in this moment? And again, no right way or wrong way, just focused inquiry. And in that focused inquiry is where we find a sense of connection and expansion. So up through the back of the neck and the back of the head. So the whole of the back of the body. Just the chair, the earth. Whatever you've chosen and whatever you've chosen to practice. Just providing support to all the substance and all the edges, the back of the body. And then coming around to the face and the mouth, the tongue and the teeth. Just inquiring into the mouth. the inside, both the cheeks, and then just feeling the outside of the cheeks, the whole nose, the left and the right nostril, the left and the right eye, forehead, the space between the eyebrows, just coming down through the center of the face between the eyes and the gristle between the nostrils, that little space between the nostrils and the top lip, lips over the curvature of the chin, down the throat, through the nodule, little dip at the base of the throat, down into the center of the breastbone, just resting there, just along that bone of the chest that we call the sternum, and that whole space in the center of the chest that we refer to as the heart space. So it's not where the actual physical heart is, but that expanse of the subtle body. Just taking a few breaths there, just feeling the front of the body, of the center of the chest, and the back body, and the center of the back. Then just, when you feel ready, coming down to the navel. And then just feeling that expansion and contraction. And just listening from this space to any sounds that are happening within the body or close to the body. Then just bringing our sense of hearing into the atmosphere around us. So sounds that are near to us. Again, maybe it's in the room, telephone, books, a clock, a buzzing. And then just listening again for any sounds in the distance. So maybe we can hear a road or people talking. And just finding ourselves, just taking a few moments to find ourselves in amongst all of those sounds. And just seeing that the sound of our body just exists, the sound of all our workings exists in amongst all the other sounds. And we can bring some movement to that body as well. So maybe if we haven't already, we can bring some contractions of muscles into the buttock, just from left to right. And then the feet, a hand, the shoulders, and then just opening our eyes when we feel ready, if we haven't already, just with that downward gaze that we talk of, just to acclimatize ourselves back into the environment. And then just stretching or moving, even if it's eye movement. And then just coming back into the Zoom room just when we feel ready.